Hello there. Alright. Are you working? Let's make sure my radio's working. And up in here. There we go. Alright, good deal. Hi there. Let's play some more Final Fantasy XIV, shall we? Alright. Head this a ways. Here to report on the successful completion of the favor I asked of you. How very dutiful of you. Would I be correct in guessing your little jaunt has paid dividends? No need to tell me. I can see you're practically bursting with vim and vigor. Why, even I feel better just looking at you. I've done nothing but stand here the entire time. It's a sign of a successful mission. You returned minus 3 fruit samples, I presume. Oh, yeah. They hated it. Is that so? Not one of them found it to their liking. They claimed my last attempt was too sweet, and now it's too bitter. Honestly, the nerve of these so-called experts. As you shall soon learn, I'm not so easily deterred. For my next creation, I'll cross-pollinate sour and sweet varieties. We'll see what they have to say about that. I'll show them these wildly varying results that come from adherence to natural processes that have the power to defy expectations. And as a familiar of atoms yourself, I'm sure you can appreciate that. Sure, why not? What's up, Charmian? We have yet to register an official name for this specimen, so we simply call it the Bird of Elpis. What's your first thought upon beholding this majestic creature? I want to write it into the sky. Fascinating. Imagine a familiar which supplements its deficiencies by taking a mount with the desired capability. In this case, flight. In any case, I'm eager to hear more of your responses. You truly are unlike any construct I've ever met, familiar or otherwise. Let's continue southward, shall we? I'd like to hear your opinion on this next faculty. I'm just glad it doesn't have to be another one of those escort missions. Those one no bueno. Chestnut-haired researcher. You wish to speak with me? Oh yes, I'm supposed to give you something, I think. Ah, yes, I had a feeling he might say that, or she might say that, as I've told her my decision has been made. What about that winged creature? It was a success. Glad tidings to be certain, but my work is done. This news is more than sufficient, and I thank you for it. Nothing can deter me from my chosen course, and I must join my predecessors in the hereafter. Tell Blaise to name the creature as she pleases, and I will wish her every happiness. Now, our brief encounter has reached its end. Farewell. All right. Whee! Hey there, Hermes. The lacerations and burns are unmistakable. A Lycon was indeed responsible. But the creature is nowhere to be seen. The rest must have taken it away. The man makes his base at the 12 Wonders. I shall go and seek him out there. And with Selk and I will search the area in good measure, just to make sure that Lycon did not escape. Yeah, thanks. Let us meet at the 12 Wonders when you're finished. I'll go on ahead. Please follow with Peter. Come, it's down this path and over the bridge. I'll deal with that eventually. First, I must continue my tour. Second tour. Ignorant. Okay. I see what you're going. I see where you're going with there. I'm smelling what you're stepping in. Yeah, there, Shermian. That structure over yonder houses some of the more unorthodox researchers. Rather than weave creation magics, they breed existing specimens in the hope of begetting new strains and species. The method is imprecise, the outcome uncertain. To my eyes, such research seems awfully self-indulgent, merely a means to sate the whims of one intellectual curiosity. Our purpose in life is to improve, if there is. In my opinion, we should steer clear of techniques that produce flawed results. What if the process created something unexpectedly incredible, beyond that which you could yourselves imagine? A serendipitous discovery. I suppose it is possible. Thank you. I thought to broaden your horizons, and here I'm realizing how narrow my own views can be. Hardly a desirable quality to an observer. Time for a spot of rest and reflection, I say. Shall we move on to the morning dew? It's favored by many an observer for its calming tranquility. Sure, let's go. Maybe one day I can go to those. Oh, you want to fight, huh? Bring it, Monk. Hey there, on blast. She's not with you. Did you at least find her? Oh, yeah. Hey, she said you can do whatever the hell you want. I should have known nothing would sway her. All I can do is hope she finds blessed respite in the ethereal sea, and that we may one day be reunited in another life. Until then, I will carry on her legacy, beginning with the naming of that creature she cared for so deeply. I think I should name it after her. That way she will live on through her work forever. Oh, that's good. Goodness, let me just lie down. Welcome to our Garden of Respite. We can explore more of it later, but first, I want to hear more of what you think. Of people. Of us. I've often sat here musing upon the nature of our creation, and wondered how a familiar might perceive its creator. They're not so different. Perhaps that's true. You do seem far closer to us in nature than most other familiars. Well, let us set aside such musings for a moment, and bask in the morning dew's serenity. Are you well rested, Pieter? One cannot perform at one's best without allowing the mind and body time to recuperate. Here on Agnoresis, we often encourage one another to nap, or partake in some of the fruits we grow. You could conjure such treats into existence, of course, but there's something oddly gratifying about plucking a ripened fruit fresh from the tree. Oh, how remiss of me. How exactly do you sustain yourself? Is Azim supplying you with aether? Not really, no. No? But you'll fade away without the proper nourishment. The tour can wait. We must feed you immediately. Would you mind picking some of the white blooms in the west of here and indulging them, bringing them into Overseer Sockless, or traces flowers, they call them. Have everything else ready by the time you arrive. Or traces flowers. Okay. Orchestratus flowers. Well, we attack these creatures, unless they force us to. Yeah, let us get away. There's no need to go after them. There's Hopeless. Charmian explained to me the crisis at hand. Have you brought the flowers? Oh, yeah, here you go. Yes, these are the ones we need. I'll add them to the fruits from Charmian's basket. We'll soon have an aether-replenishing beverage for you to enjoy. Tis the work of but a moment. Huzzah. And here we are, freshly squeezed Angorassus juice medley. Go on, then drink up. I'm curious to hear what you think of it. You drink the juice, noting the complexity of the floral and fruity flavors. Oh, good. It seems you're able to tolerate liquid sustenance. You didn't appear to be suffering from your loss of material form, but a familiar must have a regular infusion of etheric energy. And now that we know you won't suddenly vanish, would you please reassure Carmelian? She looks terribly concerned. I'm so glad you're able to replenish your stores of aether. Overseer Soakless certainly is a wonder when it comes to food preparation. Still, I firmly believe the consumption of food should be limited to restoring one's strength. Any reason beyond that is simply wasteful. Eating for enjoyment alone is an unnecessary drain on living resources, and such a practice can only be harmful to our store's equilibrium. Which is why I have so much respect for Overseer Soakless and his culinary talent. He employs ingredients and methods that not only optimize the dish's ethereal concentration, but also produce flavorful results. Save your compliments, Charmian. I won't be flattered into making another batch until it's time for our next meal. Well, of course not. I would never dream of attempting such base manipulation to begin with. Pieter, I feel we've grown to understand each other. There's one last thing I wish to know. As you've seen, our purpose is to improve life on this star, and we each have our own way of approaching that purpose. Familiars, too, exist for a reason, often a very specific one, and I wonder what you feel about your place in the grand scheme of things. Charmian, perhaps you could provide our friend here with an example of what you mean. Such a nebulous question requires a more recognizable foundation from which to answer. Oh, yes, you're right, of course. We must not skip the journey in our haste to reach the destination. Where to begin? Broadly speaking, we study the wisdom and magics of our forebears and choose our path as our interests and talents begin to crystallize. Even among the observers of Gnosis, however, Overseer Soakless and I share a similar calling. Again, it may be more beneficial to simply show you what I mean. Please accompany me to the archives in the Northwest. All right. I mean, first and foremost, I'm a helper, but generally my help is in the form of healing. So I have an answer, but you go ahead and ask me your questions. Between you and me, Hermes' eating habits are atrocious. We may not be reliant upon food for the extent of such smaller creatures are, but our diets eventually catch up with us. If we don't consume the requisite balance of nutrients, we grow weak and lethargic. Yet Hermes consumes candied apples as if they were a staple. This is where we keep all the administrative records. All of these documents will help give you an idea of what we consider to be our defining purpose. Feel free to browse. I should just be awaiting you outside. There's not a lot of books here. These books appear to contain detailed observation logs. The name Soakless is written on each of the spines. Stack of half-finished observation logs. Judging by the penmanship, the author is someone other than Soakless. Pick up a log and flip to a random page. Today there was an incident involving the hippocampus. The creature is extremely territorial, and 4 observers sustained light and severe injuries from water-based magics as a result of their perceived intrusion into its domain. A report has been sent to the wards of La Habrea, outlining the dangers inherent in continued observation of their nominated subject, and the intent to shift our focus to a smaller and considerably less aggressive hip. So Soakless is a scientist, or observer, as is the nomenclature of this area. Yeah, Charmian. I finished. Pieter, did you find the observation logs enlightening? I mean, somewhat. Overseer Soakless has built up quite a library, hasn't he? He's logged comprehensive observations on every living being in Neurosis. Not only objective physical descriptions, but also his personal thoughts and impressions. That's why I'm here, to carry on the Overseer's invaluable work. When it comes to the continued success of Arcturosis, our purposes are very much aligned. I cannot help but worry, however, that I lack the same degree of perception and ability and that I'm unfit to the task I've chosen. Even being in the same room as those logs is enough to make me feel uncomfortable. My insistence that you examine your purpose was, I think, born from the trepidation which surrounds my own. An uncertainty you need not feel. Overseer Soclus, as one of our newest arrivals, you've ever been quick to doubt yourself. Yet you're able to guide Peter here on an engaging tour through the intricacies of our duties, which clearly demonstrates the depths of your understanding. All I wanted was someone to emulate my work, why I would simply continue doing it myself. No, the reason I asked you to assume my role is because I believe you can take our projects in new and novel directions. Raising you as a competent successor is the final step in my purpose in life. Do me proud, Charmian. It is your growth, your efforts, which will facilitate my return to the star. I'll do my best, Overseer. But don't be in too much of a rush to leave us. There are still so many things that I need you to teach me. And speaking of teaching, thank you, Peter, for this wonderful and enriching visit. It's been a pleasure learning about you, not to mention a few things about myself. Yes, you also have my gratitude on the part you've played in training my young colleague. You're welcome to return whenever you wish. Thanks. Quest complete. Palamith's notice. Speak with Matan and have her accompany you. There, Matan. There it is. The 12 Wonders. Hermes is looking for Doros. Let's look for Doros, too. He's a man with long, blonde hair, I think. I'll know him when I see him. Matan is now accompanying you. Keep her at your side in order to proceed with quest objectives. Blah, 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 blah. Give me the tutorial every single time. Hey there, Dark-Haired Man. Once I get back and record today's results, I should really finally be able to put that report to bed. Not Doros. His hair is long, but the color is wrong. Okay. I'm gonna turn to the Sailorite. Hey there, blonde-haired man. Doros. That's Doros. Well now, if it isn't Matean, what brings you here? I thought I heard a familiar voice. I didn't realize you two had decided to help me search for Doros. Thank you. Yeah. You're in charge of the Lacones, I believe. Where are they now? Out of the fields and restraints, frenzied as they were, I could not well return them to Cassis. Once I have submitted my report, I'll see them reverted without delay. It is as he says, the beasts are indeed quite ferocious. You're one of the 14. What brings you here? Nothing that need concern yourself with, as you were. We've heard the news that a Lycone slaughtered our Rapires. As the observer in charge, you're of the opinion they were not fit to be released? I am. Their abnormal aggression and exceptional strength makes for a highly problematic combination. It matters not where they're released. Lycones would likely threaten other species and upset the natural order. Could it be that the specimens observed are an outlier? Highly unlikely. We've created a good many of them, all exhibited the same tendencies. Even when we used Kairos to begin with a fresh slate, their behavior was unchanged. Kairos? A memory reconfiguration system. The chief himself created it. It allows us to erase or alter memories, that they may observe creations in different environmental conditions without needing to remake them from scratch. Quite impressive and potentially dangerous, depending on the intensity of the etheric emissions. Peshret may wish to have words with you. Rest assured, I've kept all values within prescribed limits, and to prevent misuse, its applications are limited to those authorized by the Chief Overseer. Do not misunderstand. To manipulate a subject's memories is an intrusive act I deeply abhor, but it is still preferable to execution. Come now, Chief, let's not be so melodramatic. What was born of ether simply being reduced to its original state? I know the distinctions concern you, but you mustn't lose sight of the bigger picture, making rational choices for the sake of a more prosperous star. If a creation cannot be studied properly, even with the aid of Kairos, we remake it. If a creation is deemed a detrimental existence, we unmake it. It is all for the greater good, and none question the necessity of such routine processes. I understand these things. I do. I would never think to unleash a clear and undeniable threat into the world. Yet, insignificant though their individual lives may be next to all of creation, it is all the Lycones have. Before we seal their fates, we owe it to these beings to exhaust all other options, to ensure nothing has been overlooked. If you insist. Let me provide you with a full report. You may take it from there. Would it be possible for us to attend this discussion, that Emmett Salk may better carry out his duties? By all means. Pray, show them to the meeting room. Very well. To man, other beings are just things to be used and controlled, like magic. That's what Hermes once told me. Come on in. I fear this discussion may take a while, during which time... Tan, are you feeling unwell? It's not me, Hermes. It's you. I won't go to the meeting. I will stay with Pieter. Loath I am to impose, may I leave Meteon in your care again? Oh, sure. I'll take care of her. I am in your debt. If you'll excuse me. Can you help me with something, Pieter? The meeting. This meeting will make Hermes sad. I want to cheer him up with a flower. Hermes likes flowers the most of all the creations in Elpis. Most creations are expected to be interesting or beautiful or strong, better in some way. But flowers are different. They're designed to suit our emotions, what we feel and want to convey. Hermes likes that. I can't make flowers, so I'll search for one. And I want you to search with me. Let's start here at the 12 Wonders. Tan is now accompanying you. Keep her at your side in order to proceed with the quest objectives. And let's go through the whole freaking tutorial again. How about these flowers? They're pretty, aren't they? Vibrant purple flowers bigger than your hand adorn this tree. Ooh, so big and bright. I love them. But they may be too bright. You have to think of the recipient. That's what Hermes said. I'll get my fairy out. She should help. This tree, that looks like a good flower. Tall Slender's tree rises above you. Crane your neck to look for flowers. No flowers. If there were apples, we could have covered them in syrup. Let's head outside next. Don't worry, we won't wander far. There's a flower bed here. An array of beautiful flowers grow in the bed, and a mix of colors forming a pattern. These would be better for Hermes, but they're hedged in. That means we should not touch them. They're either under observation or they're poisonous. In any other place they'd be fine, though. Let's keep looking. Set in a tall, thin stalk, an oddly shaped flower is mesmerizing in its undulations. Oh, a conium, a flower that can move. When Hermes wasn't looking, it shot seeds at him. That's not a good gift. Maybe. But you're good, Peter. Good at spotting flowers. We'll find something soon. Bring him a Marlboro. Find nothing promising nearby. At best, common-looking grasses with some tiny few flowers. Nothing around here. Ah! Over there, Pieter. Something big. Huge. Odorous grass. Terrible stench reminiscent of sodden old boots pervades the air. Without a doubt, the culprit is the mortal-like creature before you. It's an Adonis. The things around its mouth look like petals. but the flowers are the orbs on its head. When Hermes inspected it, it swallowed him up. He didn't leave his room for days. What do you think, Peter? Would you like it? It's probably not the good sort of memory. Oh, so not this one either. Finding a good flower, it's harder than I thought. I'm sorry, Peter, but could we search a little more? Maybe as far as the fields over there. I'll pick something after that, I promise. At the lush fields over here. Beautiful. Some wildflowers. Lush green fields stretch out before you, ending where the sky begins. Well, there's nothing. The shiny thing over there, what could that be? Fight this griffin because she insisted on looking at flowers right beside us. A shiny object. Escort missions. Oh, Elpis flowers. They're here too. Hermes likes and dislikes them at the same time. Like me. They're Edeliches. Like me, they feel his pain. They turn dark. That's only for Hermes, though. For others, they're always white and bright. Maybe he's bummed out. Maybe he's the one who started the whole thing. It's all Hermes' fault. Truly? The flowers were dark in your home. Then, do you have it too, a dark emotion? I hope not. I've known the pain and sorrow of loss. I see. Hermes has known the same. The feeling that part of you is gone. Again and again. But no one notices. Please, Peter, won't you lend it to me, your pain and sorrow? I want you to make the flower dark, in front of Hermes. He has been in a dark place since even before he created me. He needs to know that he is not there alone, that there are others who are sad too. Yeah, I can do that. Truly, you'll do it? Huh. Yeah, if you want. Thank you, Peter. Thank you. It means more to me than I can say. I can't wait to see how Hermes reacts. Let's go back and fetch him. All right, first things first. Red mage it up. Yeah, they're grills. Crows, take that old sod. Where's it gone now? Oh, I wasn't aware of the visitor. Pardon my language. I should hate to give a poor impression of Elpis with my unfamiliar, unprofessional behavior. Alas, I'm quite at my wit's end with this new cultivar. You are fortunate not to have overheard worse. Its restorative properties are superlative. That much is true, yet what possesses its creator to give it such nimble little legs? I shall never understand. I really must impress upon those fools the words of Homerith, but not everything needs to be ambulatory. I've tried leashing it, fencing it in, staring at it with all my might, even to no avail. Its resourcefulness is far beyond what one could, and I dare say should, wish of a vegetable. Given that it shows such signs of sentience, however, perhaps it is possible for another intelligent creation to commune with it. Are you willing to make the attempt? When it embarked upon its most recent bid for freedom, I sent my assistant after it. His own legs have grown quite powerful by this point, so with any luck, you will not find them too far to the west. Hey there, Hippotho. My, what a familiar essence you have, like that of a familiar. If you're familiar with the concept? Yeah, I get it. That's just my little joke. Pieter, was it? Fine, Hippotho. Hey, mew. The Gale Cat. Yes, we're getting to that. Peter, say hello to our familiar friend here. She's an Ailerose. Aileroi are the newest creations, highly attuned to abnormalities in their environment. At the first sign of danger, they'll sound the alarm, by which I mean mew loudly. Though we do our best to observe all of our creations, Elpis is simply too large to maintain a constant vigil over each and every temperamental species. A more efficient means of detecting conflict between creatures was in order. Thus have I taken the Aileroi under my ring, to further develop her capabilities in this area, and she does enjoy her little walks. Today, we are testing her ability to pinpoint sites of conflict. Would you like to observe? Simply tell her that the task has begun, and she'll do her utmost to locate disruptive creatures. Please do subdue any unruly subjects once you've found them. We can't have beasts running amok. Mew mew. Follow the Aileroi and try not to fall behind. The Aileroi leads the way. I'll omit these notes. Mew. Ours alerts you to two nearby creatures that are facing one another down and looks at you expectantly. And to fight them both, you sense a hostile presence. I took him down. Grillo sent you to commune with the Mandragora. Best of luck. What's that? The Mandragora emits a screech not unlike the sound of a Magitek airship's hull rending in twain. It's unclear what this is meant to convey. Did that help any? Oh, no, not at all. So even its fellow creations cannot understand it. What a pity. Granted, I did suspect its vocal origin was unique. If you took the same form, then that may be less of an obstacle. Though I'm admittedly unversed in the original design specifications, I should have little difficulty transforming you into its mirror. Shall we have a go? What? Wonderful. Now let's stand still. Or to proceed further, the question must undergo the transfigured status. Should you accidentally remove your transfiguration, talk to him and you should have another go. If anything, you understand even less than you did before. How's that? Oh, one moment, please. Pardon me, I have not the slightest idea what you were saying. Would you mind repeating that? What again? Nevertheless, we have gained valuable data. Alas, please inform Grillos that I may have maybe some time before I return. I'll grab this one over to the corner first before we continue. Hey there, Chloris. I feel like there should be another syllable in there. Everyone certainly seems content to allow their familiars to wander about unattended of late. I must say it's become something of a distraction. I've been attempting to prune this bush for ages. Who's responsible for you? I have no idea. Azamu said, in that case, I suppose some degree of independence is to be expected. I take it you're the resilient sort as well. You'll name it? I've been punched by it. That's wonderful to hear. The Ankatha population in the Wonders is a neat and coloring, you see. The appropriate number of specimens has been moved to the Hungering Gardens, a far more suitable habitat, but the remainder need to be cut down ere they harm the local environment. You can attract one by applying its nectar water to yourself. Perhaps over the beacon in the northwest. You should hate for the creature to lumber over here and mistake anyone else for a tasty snack after all. Neat. Hey there, Hippo, though. She seems quite content, but in the name of science, where are the results? What were the results? As expected. Well done, little one. Magnificent creatures, the both of you. It's a shame we cannot give you a pair of tiny wings and a bill, too. But it's against protocol, I'm afraid. The Aloroi are enhanced for furs at birth, so they'll be unable to acclimate properly. I'm certain you have your own unique potential to rise to, however. In fact, why not join us for another phase of testing? Sure. I'm so pleased you're willing to join us for further research. Thus far, we have noted this Aloroi's response to stimuli. However, the Aloroi are one more very special capability. Aren't you curious? You'll be pleased to know that I have dispatched one additional Aloroi to fly in the 12 Wonders then. If she's worked as designed, the phenomenon should be clearly observable. I expect that you will be able to collect evidence of it from my fellow researchers. Say Alaros, Dilicon, and Cluris. Do present your conclusions to me when you're finished. Sing, O Muse. I'm going to douse myself in nectar water. This must be the location Chloris mentioned. Applying the nectar water yourself ought to attract an Ankatha or two. Nectar water time. A sweet scent with a touch of ripeness fills the air. I'll hang out here and wait to get attacked. Sense a hostile presence. Oh my word. Thank you for finally acknowledging that I'm attacking something. Warum jetzt not? Actually, I'm going to use the restroom. I'll be right back. Sorry about the delay. All right, let's continue, shall we? All right. Okay, kill the griffin first, then attack the creature, because it's not twice. They tag teamed me. Let's go ahead and pull back a little bit. It's a little easier to fight. Alright, let's see here. Finish off the last of the coffee. Stick to water from here on out. All right. All right. Destination time. Now we should have a chance to get this thing. Oh yeah, this is going so much better already. Okay, survey the designated location and slay the anti-guide that appeared. Uh-oh. Come on, computer, come back. There we go. All right, Clarice. Wow, the scent of nectar water and fresh cut vines. You did as I asked. It is much appreciated. The Anakai grow and populate quickly, too quickly as I've learned. Their short life cycle makes them an excellent source of fertilizer in woodland areas. I'd hoped this factor would be enough to keep their population in check, but it appears that without natural predators, they proliferate so fast as to smother the local flora. Moving them to the gardens will do for a moment, but I must find the means to make them less invasive as a species, lest they be deemed unsuitable for this world. I couldn't bear to see bear to see that happen to my darlings. Oh, did I neglect to mention that I'm the creator of the Anthanka concept? A great many of those who've researched the creations in Elpis submit their own concepts from time to time, you know. It'd be wasteful not to put the knowledge we gain from our observations to use. Just as it would be wasteful to allow my darlings to be sent to Lethe. I will make this concept work. I promise you that. I would advise you to keep your head down. I saw some manner of creature darting about the air just now. If it carries on like that, it'll only be a matter of time before it collides with someone's skull. It startled me so badly I accidentally created a winged fish, of all things, which itself escaped into the sky as how I knew it. Though now that I have a moment to reflect on the speedy departure, perhaps the ability to fly is not so wasted upon aquatic creations as I believed. Surely such a boon would give them heretofore unknown capacity to evade predation. The recent fashion for flying concepts may have something to do with it, after all. I really must pay visits to the Bureau of Architect next time I'm in Amara. I doubt anyone who's registered a winged fish yet. Okay. So let's see, 84 would be with Monk. Yep. Just dance, it'll be okay. Do do do. Hey, Deucalion. A tiny winged creature. Do you refer to Hepalo's familiar, perhaps? I did see it not long ago. I know not where it's gone off to, I regret to say. I would assist in your search, but I must put brush to parchment before I forget what I meant to write. Outside of my observatorial duties, I have been laboring over an aquatic flora, you see. Yet, rereading my work a moment ago, I was suddenly struck by how trite my conclusion sounds. I believe I know precisely how to strengthen it, however. I dare say even Hamelet will be impressed by my insight. Isn't this the most darling familiar you've ever seen? Ah, behold its soft and fluffy fur, its pudgy belly, its charming little bell, its eyes that gaze imploringly into the very depths of your soul. Ah, makes you want to dismantle it and gobble its adorable aether right up, does it not? I dare not, of course. Whoever it belongs to would be quite cross indeed. Yet, even to gaze upon it stokes within me a creative passion the likes of which I've never known. Meow. Oh, alas, my muse. Perhaps I need create my own familiar of surpassing cuteness after all. Sing, O muse. Hey there, Grillis. Did you locate the Mandragora? Oh yeah, I got that thing taken care of. Seemingly incapable of comprehensive communication, is it? Perhaps its degree of intelligence bears further scrutiny. Of course, if upon further observation it is deemed sentient, it will be subject to even greater scrutiny to ensure that it can be safely set loose. To understand each creation in all of its aspects and conclusively prove it's beneficial or detrimental to the star, such is our duty and our burden as researchers. At least we can say with certainty that its legs work. That can indeed be said. Mew mew. That hippo, though. I see you've spoken with everyone. What are your findings? It's very cute and they want to eat it. Exactly right. They'll very bless those they meet with inspiration. After all, we are at our best and our brightest when our hearts are at ease. With clarity of thought and faith in ourselves, we can do anything. What could possibly quell inner turmoil so well as a lovable creature like this? Mew mew. Oh. It seems duty calls. She senses another irregularity. Off you go then, dear girl. With today's results, the LOI concept will be approved in no time. I'm truly fortunate to have such wonderful familiars to work with. Yourself included, of course. Alright, well, let's go back to Scholars. It seems they're still talking. Let's wait until they're finished.
Hermes!
Oh, you were waiting for me.
Idiot.
You've finished talking?
Yes, we've come to a decision.
And?
My thanks for keeping Meteon company. Emmett Selk and Hythlodaeus have already retired to their rooms. There is room for you too, if you would follow me.
Wait! I want to show you something first.
Elpis flowers?
Go on.
I can pick one if you'd like.
You're not the only one, Hermes. Others feel sad too. You're not alone.
That is so freaking sweet.
I see Meteon has shared much with you.
Probably too much.
May we talk a moment?
Oh, that's adorable. Off the hedgehog goes.
I do not think it wrong that we live for the star, that we strive to make it a better place. And yet, in carrying out my duties here, there are times when I am plagued by doubt. Do you recall what Hythlodaeus said when we first spoke of my nomination? Death is the privilege of those who have fulfilled their purpose, a choice they embrace of their own free will. And when they depart, it is always beautiful. Perhaps it is, but only for man. Creations that he deems useless are discarded with nary a second thought. Some scarcely born into the world, afforded a handful of breaths before life and potential are abruptly extinguished. We make an effort to spare them the pain. They sense what awaits. Rage and anguish and cower and fear. And it is not beautiful. Yet no one cares. No one. So fixated are we upon the duty that we do not pause to question the method. Pain and suffering, confusion and despair, writ plain in the eyes of those poor creatures. Yet no one sees. We turn a blind eye and carry on in blissful ignorance. Nor to miss. And always, always the blossoms shine pure and white. A contradiction so blatant I could scream, want to scream. How can you all accept this aberration? And I wonder, am I the aberration for thinking thus? And I am filled with dread. But now I know I'm not alone. Not the only one for whom the flowers weep. Owen asked what you thought as he kneeled beside the Elpis. or if he only did it at Meteon's insistence. Nevertheless, I thank you. To know that you too have experienced suffering is a comfort.
Oh, I could tell you all about suffering. I could go on and on. Pretty miserable,
Lest you
actually.
misunderstand, I derive no pleasure from your pain. It's just the fact that you are still here in spite of your suffering gives me heart. The stars in the heavens. Know you what they are?
Other worlds, I believe.
Though it is too far to tell, each glittering light could be a world not unlike Aetheris. A world filled with life. So many stars, so many lives. For us, there may be no higher purpose than to live for our world. But what of the other living beings out there? What is it that gives their lives meaning? That drives them day after day after day? To pose that question to our undiscovered cousins, I created beings of dynamis, who can traverse the vast emptiness between the stars. Meteon and her sisters. Sisters. She has a great many of them. And they have already departed on their journey, traveling to one star and then the next in search of life, as one might expect. Exploration on such a grand scale is rife with difficulties, and thus far I've naught to show for it. But I have faith that we will make some manner of discovery ere long. And when we do, I should be glad to share our findings with you, in gratitude for your kindness.
Sure.
It's getting rather late. We had best find our beds. It would not do for both of us to be sleep-deprived on the morrow. Come, Meteon. Let us head back.
So is it your fault for draining the earth of this contentment?
All right.
She sensed something, didn't she? Omega, find me good somewhere. An all too brief interlude, perhaps, but it is time I attended to my next task. As Emmett Selch and Hedelius are aware, we reached a verdict regarding the fate of the Larachinodes. 7 were created for observation. And all 7 must be unmade. Deros has followed the correct protocols, and as chief overseer, I can find no fault in his judgment. The Lachinones would disrupt the natural order, ravaging and consuming other species until they themselves starve and perish. They cannot be released into the wild, and they cannot be allowed to remain here in Elpis. I intend to petition the Bureau of Architects to have the concept preserved as a restricted purpose hazardous life form. Hedelicus has pledged to support me in this endeavor. Yet whatever the Bureau decides, the existing Lycanos have served their purpose. Doros has already isolated the creatures and is preparing to carry out the necessary measures. I will join him forthwith. It is my duty to witness the conclusion to this study. If you are so resolved, then we have but to accompany you. Of course. Let us be off, then. We return to the main isle. Hey, Hirex. Oh, your Asm's familiar, are you not? I pose you a question. Imagine an object you truly desire lies before you. What do you do? Shout need. I see. As rumored, you do not show a glimmer of intelligence. Avarice is the mark of sentience, you know. Speaking of which, my pot of nectar has recently gone missing, along with the nymphi I was observing. Welcome as this confirmation of their intelligence is, they aren't meant to eat all of it at once. Of course, should I pursue them, they will like as not hide for fear of reprisal as they devour the lot. However, they may respond if a fellow familiar expresses his doubt as to so much nectar truly belongs to them, if you take my meaning. Fortified enclosures would be dreadfully dull for all involved. Oh, if only there were someone who... Aha! You have impeccable timing, my friend. I'm in need of a bit of assistance, you see. Do I even have money here? Of course I do. We're not all creative minds well compensated for their work. Now listen. We have been asked to design a new island for the purposes of containing and monitoring poisonous specimens. Alas, we know little of such concepts, and last I attempted a bit of research, I woke up 3 days later with far too much information about gripes. You, however, have the look of a familiar, does not possibly care less about this subject. Thus do I require your services. You need only ask the researchers in Antagoras for a brief introduction to poisonous creatures, and steadfastly ignore any niggling curiosity in favor of reporting back here. Alright, sure. Mount Researcher requires some assistance in testing the grip's capabilities. Well, where did you come from? Get back, quickly! How odd. Generally speaking, the grips would sooner gore you than look at you. Did your creator imbue you with a special talent for soothing savage beasts, perchance? I'm just good at mounting things. Curious indeed. I dare say this calls for further experimentation. I don't suppose you'd be willing to attempt a flight on its back. Hope the grips will find use for a mount, you see. But its aggression toward unfamiliar faces has precluded any real trials thus far. Please, consider it. You're willing to ride the grips. Splendid! We can begin immediately, assuming you have your preferred riding trousers on. And your trousers ready for the grips? Indeed I am. Both of you have wonderfully relaxed riding postures. Let's take you to a little tour of Elpis. Well, let's do it. Nephrogun's beauty is ever striking. Note the blossoms, which change according to Elpis' seasons and ethereal balance. True masterwork. The grips seem quite content. And so do the flower's sweet perfume and your masterful handling, no doubt. It's quite beautiful from the air. These beacons are crucial to our operations here in Elpis, and make convenient lodestars for any flying specimens under observation. Successful concepts sight them from a distance and can approach without hesitation. Grips this plastitest with flying colors, so let us return to solid ground. An elegant landing, another mark of the favor of Grip's utility as a mount. I believe I have the data I need. Thank you for your cooperation. Glad I could help. I'm sure you're curious as to what today's trial means for our friend here. If you like, we can speak further back at the Wonders. Sure. But first, let's do this thing for Mateos the Inscrutable. My creativity is all but stagnated. If creativity were a well, mine would be bone dry, worthless. So I hope to use existing creations to inspire me, replenish my water supply, as it were. Which is where you come in. Perhaps you, my new familiar friend, might go toe-to-hoof against some Egorotites? Observing their flight or fight responses will surely be of great help to me in my currently unimaginative mind. Yeah, let's go. No, you'd oblige me. Thank you kindly. Now, if there are any others who might join you, I do for one of aspiring against some creations to spark my creativity. If there are truly any others, I just need anyone really, to engage the Agaragas in combat. I must see how it performs when faced with an attacker. And Euclides. A quintessential example of a poisonous specimen in the Morgul Marquis, of course. Never was a creation so foul, so pungent, hence the name. Indeed, the concept has lately been adjusted to prevent any further accidents. The Marquis. The Marquis. It blinds the eyes and paralyzes the body, even as the mind desires nothing so much as to vomit continually to purge its stench. Why did they ever make such a thing? It lent an odoriferous origins of mortals. You're soliciting ideas in the island of poisonous concepts. In that case, you might ask the new cultivar for the Catholic horns, until it bears poisonous fruit. You learn of the deadly new cultivar. Hey, Nikias. Poisonous creatures? Why, there's one right there. As you can see, its skin is translucent. The body within, shall we say, is squishy. Fortunately for it, these beautiful sleeve-like appendages conceal countless minute stinging darts. Most other creatures cannot so much as touch it, let alone devour it. It would be fascinating to see how it fares against non-aquatic concepts. Ooh, perhaps it could even fly, should a light enough gas be incorporated into the membrane. You've learned a disturbing fact about stinging invertebrates. All right, another potty time. Apologize for all of these breaks. Be right back. All right. Continue lettuce. Or perhaps let us continue. Yigdrant. I'll wait a little while before replenishing that water. I've taken enough breaks for at least a little while. Yeah, Doris. Doris, are you hurt? What happened here? They caught me off guard. I had them bound with ethereal shackles, but they became frenzied, even more so than usual, and they broke free. I was able to stop 4, the other 3 escaped. I see them. 2 have taken to the air above the 12 wonders. The last is up ahead, lurking in the fields. You and Pieter handle that one. The pair in the sky you can leave to me. All right. If this is how it must end, then so be it. I will render assistance to end itself, unneeded though it is. Mityan, you're to stay here with Doros. But Hermes... The Lycotes must be reverted. I would spare you their pain. And mine. This is my burden, not yours. But if you're intent on helping, then please follow my lead. Go up here and complete as much of this as I'm able. Try to handle them one at a time. That is the opposite of one at a time. Thank you. Oh, wow. We are so freaking good. I took on the entire pack at once. That's not how that's supposed to work. I'm under-leveled, so I'll take these on one at a time. Proceeds to take on all of them at once. Okay. Silver's good. I can take silver. Hey there, Hermes. I appreciate your help, and I lament that it was necessary. There it is, a quarry, within striking distance at present, but if it feels threatened, it may well flee before I reach. Here's my plan. You approach it slowly in full view and draw the Lycos' attention. Now, I warn you, its abilities are as fire as its temperament. Once it spots you, it will unleash orbs of flame. But fear not, by my measure, you are more than equal to the task. You think so? Withstand the onslaught for a few brief moments, and that will give me time to catch it unawares. Ready? Well, then let us begin. Seriously? Two at once? Okay. You just insist on me dying. I see how it is. Face down the Lycon and its fireballs. Not quite yet. Stand your ground a little longer.
Now.
There's a staff of healing.
Oh. Forgive me. Please, forgive me. May you and your kin find peace. Wherever your souls may drift in the underworld, may you find tranquil seas. Be not forgotten, in concept endure, to reclaim form and one day live again. Serve not the star, or any purpose save your own. Live again, if that be your desire.
And thus we have the blasphemies.
Hate, if that be your want. We are worthy. But leave your suffering behind. Lay down your burdens, be born anew. Fly high. Fly free.
So you're our source of the last days. Empathize just a little too hard.
Join the convocation, Hermes. You do not belong here.
Leave to replace another. To be replaced. It changes nothing. Tell me, do you think it right that we sacrifice all these lives for the sake of the star? And when the star has reached perfection, what then? If all who are satisfied choose to die, shall we all die in satisfaction? I do not know. Were I to take up the seat of Van Daniel, it would be tantamount to approving my predecessor's death. I do not know if it is right. And to be torn by such thoughts, I do not know if I am fit to represent mankind.
Hermes! Please don't be angry. It hurts so.
Forgive me. If you would still consider me in spite of everything, I beg some time to gather my thoughts. Meanwhile, Hythlodaeus, I fear I must trouble you to attend to the others.
'Tis no trouble at all. Take as long as you require.
And you, my friend, I pray you find that which you seek.
I expect we have some few matters to discuss. Shall we return to the 12 Wonders for a time? Aye.
Well, before we do this, let's get some of this other stuff taken care of, shall we? First off, we need to mend. Aren't you just adorable? Yes, you are. Hello. That's what I love about familiars. So whimsical. I have a task that is perfectly suited for one such as yourself. I would like to ask you to inspect the flower beds north of here. I suspect they will have accumulated some ethereal masses. Should you find any, please bring them to me. Do look carefully now. If I needed someone to wander off from the task half finished, I would have asked one of the other researchers. Welcome back. You'll be pleased to know that based on these results, I'm confident the Grix can be trained to become the perfect mount. It scorns unfamiliar and clumsy hands, yes, but so long as it trusts the rider, it serves him incomparably. Given Hermes' own expertise, flying creatures are always subject to immense scrutiny before approval. Even so, I have no doubt that our proud friend will pass muster. Oh, that's good. Really? Oh, there you are. I've begun to worry you'd become mired in the minutiae. There's that report you needed. 3 notes, enough to see our options, yet not so many as to lead us into the weeds. Well done. My, this marquee is quite fascinating, isn't it? How might one contain such a specimen, if not befoul its environs beyond repair? I simply must know. Excuse me, we're off to see the man about a marvel. It has them orbs. Yeah, there, Nymphy. Squeal. There it is. Nope. Squeal, squeal. The nymph waddles away, not before you catch a strong whiff of nectar. Doubt. Looks like a beaver. Squeal, squeal. Nymphe waddles away, looking rather pleased with itself. There was one just right over here. Where the heck did it go? There it is. Squeal. Hey, I don't think you know where that thing has been. Squeal, squeal, squeal. The nymphe squeals in a presumably disgruntled fashion and waddles away. He'll carry a problem for you. You've returned. Oh, but where are the nymphi? The beavers. What in the world are you talking about? Come now, tell me what you saw. Spare no detail. I'm a professional. Beavers. Strange brown-furred creatures that waddled. The nymphi were right, and winged, and... Oh, no. Oh, no, that's absurd. Tell no one of this. Some things are better off lost. That's right. The nymphs turned into beavers. Yeah, this creature's terrible. It's one of the distant favorites. The other Lycanos have been taken care of. The incident is resolved and life in Elpis returns to normal. Or ends, as the case may be. Rationally speaking, I understand Hermes' argument. No matter how well reserved the rest, there's a pang of sadness when a colleague leaves us. Yet never has a departure caused me such grief as Hermes appeals to feel. What must it be like to experience such torment? I'll let you figure it out soon. I'll help. Yeah, let's just continue this way. Where to now? Is there anywhere that you would like to visit before we leave? I should be glad to show you the way. Hermes has not yet outright refused his proposition with the convocation, merely postponed the decision. As such, I may as well resume my assessment. If we cannot accompany him, then I will content myself with questioning his colleagues. However, the pragmatist, then allow me to remain as your humble guide. What of you, Pieter? Will you continue along with us? Wonderful. Our fellowship travels on unbroken. I say we explore another part of Elpis, and see what encounters there are to be had. If you will allow me, if you'll follow me, we will first head back toward Agronosis. Cool, but first I need to do this thing up here. I'll check out the ethereal bed. Ethereal mass floats over the flower bed, right for the picking. Probably. Survey the flower beds and take the ethereal masses. Though you examine the flower bed closely, there are no ethereal masses to be found. Ethereal mass floats over the flower bed, right for the picking. Probably. Hey, I jumped your little hedge. Hopefully it doesn't have, like, horrible unintended consequences. Is it behind the fence? It's marvelously in your flight training today. Did you scrutinize every corner of the beds? I did. Here are a couple of ethereal masses that you asked for. As I suspected, masses of earthen aspect. The Garden of the 12 Wonders reflect a balance of dynamic and stagnant aether of all 6 aspects. An excess of activity in a single bed leads to this type of agglomeration. It is the flower bed's way of bearing fruit, so to speak. Beautiful as they may sound, ethereal masses indicate that we may adjust the ethereal balance in Elpis to maintain an ideal environment. There's not for you to worry about your diddly little head about, of course. Such magic is as simple as breathing for us. Oh, run along now. Alright. Well, thanks for the, what's the word I'm looking for? Patronization. Hello, Hythlodaeus. From here we'll follow the path northwards to Lenolanus. There we will find one of the Neos, which facilitates travel between the islands of Elpis. First-time travelers must be accompanied by someone with the requisite permission, which I have previously been granted. We only need to use a device together once, and henceforth you'll have to leave us to use it freely. Shall we? You'll have leave of us to use it freely. That's what I was trying to say. Man, that shockmouth's terrifying. Here we are, Natoneus. This Neos will take us to Palmetus of Zarpus in the western land. That's it, right there, looming large above us. Step this way and we can soon admire the view from above. As we quickly teleport.
I present to you Calamelios Zephyros.
Zephyros.
Here you will find a number of testing facilities, as well as the observation hub of Poiton Oikos.
Right then.
Let's begin by... Well, well. An Arraius. How delightful.
And what, pray tell, is that?
Ah, that's a new species of shark. We approved the concept but a few days ago.
Okay.
Sharks are among the most popular sea creatures. Rare is the day when someone does not submit a new concept. At first, they were largely orthodox, consideration given to such things as size and environmental impact. And then a whimsical someone thought to bestow it with flight, another superior intelligence. And then the floodgates burst. Concepts with multiple heads, or arms and legs, and so on and so forth. It was getting absurd. A part of me wanted to tell them to go away and find something else to create, but in the end I couldn't deny their passion. And here we are.
I'm being choked by a shark friend.
That was too close. Are you unharmed?
Hey, Titlein.
Well now, if it isn't a pair of familiar faces.
Banar, that we should meet you here.
Yep.
As I mentioned earlier, the better part of the convocation holds that when we retire is when we return to the star. Well, she is not among said majority. Even after stepping down, she carries on with her work. Vanar is her name, and she is the previous Azem.
It has been a while, Hythlodaeus. You look well. Less so, Emmet Selk. I dare say the lines upon your brow have both deepened and doubled in number. A shame for one so young. You must make an effort to frown less often.
Easier said than done, thanks to your unruly successor.
How is he, if I may ask?
Incorrigible as ever. Rushed headlong into a volcano on the brink of eruption just the other day. I should be glad to share the tale in its entirety later, if you're so inclined.
Oh, you know I am. Now then, you are? I say, have you perchance come from the future? I do not believe we have ever met, yet I sense my magic upon you. Therefore, if I wove the enchantment, I could only have done so at a later point in time.
What manner of magic is this, if I may ask?
A traveler's ward, of course. It prevents the corruption of one's ether.
That sounds rather like the blessing of light.
I see you are not ignorant to its presence. And while there are many protective spells, the one you bear is unmistakably mine.
Hold on. From the future? That's absurd.
What is it? Are you unable to speak of the matter?
I don't want to ruin the future.
The reality to which you must return exists as a result of the final days. You cannot reshape the past to undo the tragedies of the present.
I cannot speak of it, unfortunately.
So, your actions here will not change your history, but they may yet affect the course of ours. How very exciting! I'm quite fond of delving into the unknown, and there's naught more unknown than the future. Until a moment finally arrives, we cannot know for certain what will come to pass, regardless of our supposed foreknowledge. So you needn't worry for us. More importantly, that you should go to such great lengths as to travel unto the past bespeaks the gravity of your quest.
Indeed.
Will you not reveal it to us? Mayhap we can be of aid to your cause.
If this is true, then you've been keeping quite the secret to yourself. As a representative of the Convocation, I will hear it all. Your identity, purpose, everything.
Why don't we move to a place more conducive to calm conversation? I've been working here for some days now at an old friend's behest. If it is agreeable, we may make use of my accommodation at Poiton Oikos. We were meant to meet. I am certain of it. Else I wouldn't have marked you so clearly, and sent you unto myself in the past. It's precisely the sort of mischief I would get up to. And quite inspired, if I do say so myself.
My apologies, but before we move along, a colleague has tasked me with a matter I'd rather not leave unresolved. It involves finding a certain concept-engraved crystal, and the quick-fingered Aureus has made off with it. An Aureus, you say? I think we might have seen the culprit before being distracted by that business with the shark. Would you like us to follow its ethereal trail? That would, of course, lead us only to the Aureus. There's no guarantee it hasn't dropped or stashed away the crystal you seek. Please. Even that much would be enormously helpful. While you're hunting down the thief, I can follow behind and scour the forest floor, just in case. Could I ask you to join the search? I would appreciate another pair of eyes to cover the land to the west of here. Sure. Many thanks. There's a small bridge leading to the Poiton Oikos. Let us meet there, once we have exhausted our efforts. Come on, you silly thing. There we go. It's loaded. I found the concept crystal. English scholarship. Millennium. Hey there, Renat. Our last searcher returns. I'm afraid the Aureus no longer has the crystal, nor was I able to find it as I followed in their wake. I don't suppose you fared any better. Here's a crystal. The crystal. Well done. Wonderful. Now I can focus on your tale without that missing concept nagging at my mind. Have you always had a knack for finding things? Traveling and searching go hand in hand. You travel often, then. It seems like we have something in common. Long ago, when I held the seat of Azim, I was forever trekking back and forth across the star, in search of answers to people's problems. Naturally, the need for such journeys has lessened considerably since I was entrusted the position to my whimsical successor. Yet I am still eager to come running should any old acquaintance or new interest require my personal attention, which is what brings me to Elpis, in fact. Many times has my presence been requested, my opinions sought concerning the habitat of this or that creation. Agreeing to help locate that missing crystal was a minor distraction, which now promises to be a major revelation. How strange and wonderful it is the way one thing leads to another. Wouldn't you not agree? Thank you again for your timely help. Now then, 'tis time I returned this stolen property. If you would go on ahead of my accommodation, I will join you as soon as I have attended to that task. Follow the path straight ahead to the building at the top of the slope. I have the entire place to myself, so we can speak without fear of being disturbed or overheard. All right. Ruminations ramble. Let us attuned at this aetherite. Has replaced Razatan as a favorite. Welcome to my temporary abode. Please make yourself at home while I put on some tea. Oh, chai would be lovely, thank you. Answers.
A wonderful aroma. I feel more relaxed already.
Would that I had sweetmeats to offer, but I travel light out of habit. There's plenty of hot water though, so please have as much tea as you like. Now then, will you tell us your tale?
A calamity called the final days has befallen the world.
Why don't you start from the beginning?
Surprisingly, the final days is the beginning. You see, you guys, you let the world go crazy. And then we had to make a hero, and then the hero got too powerful, so you had to sunder the world into many shards, and it's just got kind of messy. See, I got called by Hydaelyn, which I believe was the world, but was actually a primal. And then Ascians came, and they kicked our Ascians. Had to defeat that. And then we had to fight a 1,000-year war with dragons. And, oh yeah, Emmett Selk, you were there. And you were kind of evil. Tried to kill us all. And then I had to kill Zodiark. And it led to the world kind of ending. It's kind of a mess, honestly.
Preposterous. Utterly preposterous.
While not the words I would have chosen, I too have my doubts. Much of it borders on the incredulous. What of you, Vanar?
Not knowing the precise details of the first final days, it is difficult to determine the veracity of the tale. Supposing it is all true, I must ask myself why I would do what I did. Why would I feel I had no recourse but to oppose the 14 and create this Hydaelyn? Circumstances change, of course, but it would not have been an easy decision regardless. No, there must have been a reason. One compelling enough to force me to take such drastic measures. Then there is the Elpis flower, which I said would serve as a guide.
Right.
That it's of import to your mission is plain, but your presence here leads me to believe that this place also holds significance. But what could it be? What are we meant to accomplish?
Might it not be simply thus, in the future whence he came? The final days could not be averted. Mankind has no choice but to flee the star. By alerting us to that eventuality, perhaps you wish to pave the way for other futures.
Theoretically speaking, it is a possibility. Yet if that were my primary objective, I see no reason to guide our friend to Elpis specifically. The capital and Amarot, or even my own home would be more logical destinations.
Lead you to Hermes.
True. I note also that Hydaelyn did not specify a point in time to which he must return.
Right.
By this, it may be inferred that it was not critical that we should meet.
Alternately, she had reason to believe that our paths would converge, coincidental though it may seem.
This is quite a puzzle, and we do not have all the pieces.
Hardly any. But we do have one immutable fact.
Which is?
If the final days are indeed as described, they will bring death to all that I hold dear. Yet despite being afforded long years of preparation, the only provisions I could make were for flight. Nay, my first and foremost endeavor would be to find a way to forestall the coming doom.
Given that even the 14 failed, mayhap you deemed it impossible.
Nothing is impossible. This I have always believed. And if Hydaelyn is indeed me, she would believe the same.
Listen to yourself. Are you seriously entertaining the notion that you are a messianic figure in some far-fetched tale? Well, I will not. I refuse to accept that our world could be undone by some unforeseen calamity. I also take offense to my portrayal as a megalomaniacal madman.
Well,
To sacrifice oneself for the star is a noble act, and I would hold those who gave themselves to this Zodiark in the highest esteem. Yet, you claim I recreated Amarot and populated it with phantoms of our people? A bizarre indulgence that would be insulting to their memory. Worse still, I even invited you there. Literally invited my own downfall. Why would I do something so idiotic and inexplicable?
No idea, bro.
Now, I will allow that the hypothetical task of restoring our world would be daunting in the extreme. The thought of having to bear such a burden for 1,000 lives horrifies me. But I would never forsake my duty. I would never forsake my brethren. You do not know me. I've had my fill of your fiction. I will return to my duty, and you will not bother me again.
Probably not.
Emmett Selk! Wait!
You've seen much of Elpis already. If you have any observations to share, I should like to hear them.
Seems like a nice enough place. Hermes and Midian are somehow involved, I think.
Hermes and his creation Meteon, you say? If Dynamis is the self-same energy as Akasha, as it likely seems, then those two may well be at the center of the calamity to come. This warrants further investigation. With that settled, it is time for action. The missing pieces of the puzzle are here, I'm certain of it. And when you find them, the picture my future self has painted will be complete, and you will have your answer. Now, suffice it to say, I will aid you in your quest.
Thank you. I'll happily aid you as necessary as well.
Have faith. If Emmett Selk is the man Azum described to me, we've not seen the last of him.
You're not wrong. Let's begin our investigations, then. I am acquainted with Hermes, of course, but only as a visitor received by the chief overseer of Elpis. Of the man himself, I know only that which is common knowledge. Thus, I suggest we fall back to the tried-and-true method of conversing with the locals. The observers who live here can surely tell us more of Hermes and Meteon, and I have a good idea of where we might begin. Hey there, troubled taxonomist. Perfect timing, familiar. I have a favor to ask of you. It's my job to name the creations brought to us, but I can't seem to decide on one for this particular concept. It may be because I'm the one who designed it. The species of plant which I intended to gift to my love. A clear conflict of interest, unfortunately. My names are always fair and logical and perfectly suited for the creation, but this time I'm not so sure. I do have a name for it, but what if it's not suitable? What if it's too personal? I thought of discussing the matter with my associates, but my dilemma is far too embarrassing. Won't you ask if they think the name is appropriate in my stead? Don't worry, I wouldn't expect you to work without recompense. This is my creation, a yellow pansy, and the name I have in mind is Mythos. Hey there, Meliagros. You're familiar, aren't you? Perfect timing. A pair of researchers are scheduled to arrive today from Amaro. I need you to collect their concepts from them. We've completed assessments for their creations, you see, and must make preparations to officially register the designs to the Bureau of the Architect. Please make sure I also ask for any provisional names that they may have for their works. You're familiar, aren't you? Have any prowess in battle? Some say. Good, good. I have your help with something. I could use your help with something. You see, I was asked to assess a one-eyed giant created as a facility guard. I'm not so pitted against Lotus to test its fighting skills. Not only did the giant fall to a single blow, the Lotus went into a frenzy and escaped. In my opinion, compact familiars like you are far more effective than these overly large brutes, which is my chance to prove it. Do you think you can handle our runaway combatant? As long as there's something in it for me. Of course, you'll be well rewarded for your efforts. Our experiment was conducted to the east, so it's as good a place as any to start looking for the Lotus. Case of clicking just a little too fast. Pietro would be more of a I'm happy to help kind of person. Hey there, Iowa Surveyor. Would you assist me, familiar? As I'm sure you're aware, the floating islands of Elpis were created to provide suitable habitats for our various creations. In order to maintain their respective environments, however, surveyors such as myself must make regular assessments of their ethereal composition. To that end, I was planning to take samples of the Melanian habitat with my partner, but it seems he had an urgent engagement. Something about an unscheduled meeting with a member of the Convocation of 14. Though I'm now faced with handling this rather grueling task alone, waiting until it returns is simply not an option. As I said, it's important to gather data at regular, specific intervals. Thus am I requesting your help. So, what say you? Would you be willing to accompany me in place of my partner? Oh, certainly. Many thanks. I'm sure to reward you for your efforts. Fine, let's hurry along then. We need not make our way to the south. Sorry, we will need to make our way to the south. Hey, Rana. You see the woman standing in front of you of yonder building? Her name is Ismene. She is the one who made arrangements for my stay in Elpis, and from what I recall, she's held her position here for quite some time. Chances are she can provide us with some insights. Go and ask your questions. I will help with drawing out answers, if need be, but I leave the choice of topic up to you. Hey there, Observer. I ask a favor. A colleague of mine from the Thalassa is overdue to make his report. I need someone to give him a gentle nudge. He's currently over at Rumination's Ramble, observing some life forms newly hatched from one of our creations. I'm afraid I'll skew the data if I show up and startle them. A familiar like you, however, could cause much less of a disruption. Would you be so kind? Hey there, Surveyor. The rocks in this area contain ores that can tell us about the environmental aether. We'll have to break them apart with destructive magics to collect the necessary samples. You may find that difficult with your current limitations, but I have a little something to help with that. What is this? Here, use this concept crystal to shatter the outcrop of rock. Then bring any ore fragments back to me. Start in the east if you would, and I'll start working elsewhere. We can meet back here. All right. Look at this. And Millenniums seem to be pretty intense creatures. Boom, baby. Grab some more fragments. Ugh. guess we have to fight, huh? Not a solution. How did you fare? Well, here's some more. Excellent. This should give me all the information I need. Let's head back, shall we? Man, you really are just kind of away from everybody else, aren't you? Yep, I keep hearing the DuckTales Moon theme song here. Just kind of like a slightly smooth, jazzy version of it. Thank you. Without your aid, I wouldn't have been able to observe properly how the introduction of Melanoy has affected this habitat's aether. It's important to keep careful track of the environments here to make any necessary adjustments. The terrain, the flora, everything that makes up the habitat must be meticulously controlled to fit each subject under observation. Though I applaud my partner's enthusiasm for learning at the foot of the convocation number, we cannot neglect those fundamental, albeit tedious, facets of our work. Point in Ecos. Ecos? Whatever. Questions? For me? Well, I suppose I have no other pressing duties at the moment. Following event cannot be skipped. You may wish to cancel any pending duties, Binder. Let's continue. Greetings, Ismene. My friend here is desperately curious about Chief Hermes. I was wondering if you might indulge him. Certainly, Mistress Fana. Anything to be of service. What do you wish to know? What are Hermes' interests? His interests? Well, he's an authority in flying life forms and has expansive knowledge of living creatures in general. Is that what you wish to know? How do you describe him as a person? How do you describe him as a person, as a colleague? Oh, he's a quiet man. Reserved, you might say. Occasionally somewhat poor with his choice of words. His reticent nature, however, does not prevent him from carrying out his duties as chief overseer. Hope that answers your question. Was there anything else? Do you know Matean's abilities? It's no secret she's a highly unusual familiar. Of late, the chief often makes his rounds with her, like a mother hen raising her chick. I understand that she's able to read emotions and communicate directly with one's mind. Exactly how she was created with that talent, however, is a mystery to me. My apologies. I wish I could explain her nature in more depth. I'm not at occasion to discuss it with Chief Hermes. Do you wish you knew him better? The chief may not always be the most gregarious individual, but he engages with us as necessary for everyone to perform their duties. I wouldn't want to intrude upon his privacy for the sake of my own curiosity, though if you wish to learn more about Medion, you could certainly try speaking with Timaios, another expert in the creation of flying concepts. He should be conducting his observations at the bank of the stream, somewhere to the east. Oh, and unless you take any particular joy in rambling discourse, I suggest you keep your questions concise. We will keep that in mind. Thank you for your patience and your insight. And think nothing of it. If there's aught else you need during your stay, please do not hesitate to ask. Come, Peter. I think we've taken enough of Ismene's time. Our investigation is off to a fine start, wouldn't you agree? From here, I propose we split up. I shall continue making inquiries with the resident observers, and you can track down that colleague Ismene mentioned. Well, I did feel compelled to interject once or twice during that previous conversation. You seem more than capable of drawing forth the answers you seek. All I ask is that you watch your footing around the stream. We can meet back here once we've finished talking with this Tiamos. Hey there, researcher. Can I help you? Yeah. I don't know what about, though. Of course, you may wish to collect my concept. It's this creature I have with me. It doesn't have a proper name as such. From what I hear, the observers have started calling it Notos 642, and not of the island it resided on. Right, well, I trust you to put this in Megarogos's hands. Oh, the Leshy. Yeah, Lampito. Yes, what is it? Here's the yellow pansy concept. Oh, what a pretty flower. And you said it was called a mythos. That's a fine name. Many flowers are named with a special feeling in mind, so going by what you've told me, this one's in good company. Hello, Glafara. A familiar. Did you need something? Now, what do you think about this pansy? A flower? It's beautiful and it smells lovely. Is this for me? Unfortunately, I gotta bring it back. I just want to see what you thought about it. Oh, you just want to know if the name is suitable, don't you? Have you tried asking Chris Casperia? No one knows as much about naming as them. Here's a guidebook on the subject. Take it with you and let your master decide what to do from there. And who might you be? Oh, I'm Peter Krolinsk. Ah, you're here for my concept. Well, here it is, in the flesh. I call it a stone mole. It secretes a fluid that eats through solid rock, giving it the ability to burrow through even the hardest terrain. It also can toughen its skin by ingesting the rock it has liquefied. Based on those traits, I humbly request to be given a good, strong name. A stone mole. Got it. Yeah, that Timaeus. Ah, yes, I'm Timaeus. Please keep your voice down. You'll startle the birds. Well, your bed cannot be skipped. You can ask me questions? Yes. So what is it you wish to speak about? It's true you're an expert on flying creations. A fellow enthusiast, are you? Well, settle in. We can discuss the finer points of this fascinating craft. My deep and abiding love of avian artistry can be traced back to when I was but a young boy, stricken by the transcendent beauty of a glorious golden-feathered creature my father designed. It was then and there that I vowed one day to surpass this masterpiece. Xenos launches into a rambling and unstoppable discourse. And thus did I secure the observer's role here in Elpis, and at last realized my childhood ambition. Here are the dreams I once dreamed are an everyday reality, which I find fulfillment through the research and creation of a new flying life form. An abridging recount of events, and was doubtless to your disappointment. Is there any specific part you'd like me to expound upon? You're hoping for my opinion of Chief Hermes' creations. Then why didn't you just say so at the beginning? Those beings which soar through the clouds, majestic and graceful, are ever a favorite of creators. Even now, with so many varieties in existence, the flood of newly imagined concepts continues unabated. What sets of Chief's creations apart, however, is how they benefit from his boundless knowledge of the celestial realm. Birds that climb so high that they disappear from view, others which traverse the boundless sky in moments, and all without riding the currents. I know of none save he who can conceive of such marvels. Even we who prize elegance of form above all else are dumbfounded by his genius. Matean, too, is a marvel, then? My opinion on that matter would be superficial at best. Despite my admiration for Matean as a concept, I've never delved too deeply into the inner workings of her nature. I know she has a gift for communicating via emotions. Otherwise, her abilities are a mystery to me. If Chief Hermes should choose to submit Matean's concept to the Bureau of the Architect, then will the design be registered for public scrutiny? Analyzing a colleague's creation before that step is frowned upon, to say the least. Of course, if he came to me, a fellow artisan looking for advice, that would be an entirely different story. You know of Dynamis and Eclectes? Dynamis and Eclectes. Those terms do sound vaguely familiar. Was there not a flower made here in Elpis, which exhibited properties of one or the other? Must have been centuries since I last heard of someone speak of such things. Has there been a resurgence of interest? Not especially. And why bring up the subject? I'm flattered you sought my insight, but I cannot afford to neglect my duties for the sake of idle chatter. Now, I really must return to my observations. Surely you have your own tasks to attend to. Hey there, observer. A familiar. Can I help you with something? You know, this, that, and the other. Oh, time to head back, is it? I was so enraptured watching the young ones frolic I lost track of time. Come, come, everyone. We really must be going. Rustle, rustle. Still want to play, do you? I guess we shall have to appeal to your bellies, then. Would you like to try feeding them? They become much more compliant after eating some of the treats. They're so adorable when they nibble. Rustle. Hey, lift your bag. Rustle, rustle. Rustle. Rustle, rustle. Rustle. Rustle, rustle. Rustle. Rustle, rustle. Isn't it fun watching them romp around? There you go. They really seem to like you. Do you work with young ones often? These babies are aquatic creatures by nature, but we've modified them to adapt to life on land. They mostly eat marine insects and shellfish, and some of the larger carnivores feed off of them in turn. They also carry their eggs on their backs until they're ready to hatch. Fascinating, aren't they? Oh, that's not why you're here, is it? I really must head back. There it is. It would seem the escaped lotus came back of his own accord. They usually feed off their foes to revitalize themselves, and I imagine it hungers after running amok like that. I'll take care of the situation here, and the lotus is all yours. You certainly made quick work of that lotus. I had a feeling I could count on you. As for the giant, it's far too heavy for us to move. I'll arrange for some broad-backed creations to haul it away after we return to Politican Locus. Sounds great. Not to worry about the lush Medusa at the moment. As I suspected, the smaller, more agile concept has far more faculty for adapting to combat situations. Thank you for proving my theory. I'll be sure to keep your performance in mind the next time I design a familiar. Your reward, as promised. You brought the concepts I asked for? There we go. Very good. Did you ask for the provisional names? Yeah, kind of. Stone Mole and Notice 642, and the Mole's creator requested that it have a powerful sounding name. Some researchers do become quite attached to their creations, don't they? They may seem inconsequential, but the appropriate naming of subjects is of the utmost importance. Allow me to explain. Once it has been determined that a creation is beneficial to the star, we can proceed with registering the creation's design with the Bureau of the Architect. First, however, the approved concepts must receive their official names, and as a taxonomist, it's my task to bestow them. When naming, one must strive for elegance and simplicity, all the while taking care to adhere to existing conventions and avoid repetition. The more creations we name, the more difficult it becomes to maintain this high standard. It's a demanding job, to be certain, but one which I am proud to do. For as long as this purpose guides me, I will fill this world with the most marvelous appellations I can imagine. Please take this in exchange for completing your errand. How did it go? What did everyone think of the name? Seemed to like it okay. I see. Well, that's good to know. I'll be needing this guidebook, of course. I can't very well ask myself for my thoughts. Or perhaps I should. Wouldn't hurt to have some confidence in the work I do, after all. As I created this flower, I thought of my beloved, an artist, and the stories she used to tell through her plays. My hope is that, much like the myth or legend, her work is told and retold down through the ages. Hence, mythos. I've decided I'll keep the name and submit it to the Bureau of the Architect. Thank you for your help. If you hadn't been sent to fetch me, I might have been out there for days. In any case, it's only a matter of time before our creations are approved for release into the wild. I wonder what name they'll receive. Thank you for all the help today. Here, as thanks. Oh, good timing. I finished my own investigations not long ago. So, any findings to share? Not especially. I see, even an expert in the field has little understanding of Matan's capabilities, let alone an awareness for Dynamis. My questions resulted in much the same answers. Hermes' colleagues view Matan as his personal project, and could provide no details beyond those which you just told me, which leads me to believe the only person with any significant knowledge of Dynamis is Hermes himself. Yes, we've made some progress here, but more information is needed if we are to reach any definite conclusions. At present, the strongest link we have to the final days is the power of Dynamis, and XIV, which can control it. Yet most scholars are only vaguely aware of these terms, let alone study them at any length. Except for Hermes, it seems. Thus am I inclined to stay our current course, and learn all that we can about the Chief Overseer and his familiar. And on that subject, was there aught else of note you can tell me about Matan, aside from her unorthodox methods of communication? She and her sisters were created to journey the stars in search for intelligent life, much like Omega. I rather wish you had mentioned this earlier. In any event, would you care to elaborate? Oh, yeah. Apparently they go around and they search stuff, and he created them using the whatever from the wherever. Oh, these siblings of hers now travel a great expanse in search of deeper meaning. Thank you. Though the mystery at hand remains unresolved, I feel you've touched upon a vital clue, one we should keep in mind as we continue. Next, I propose that we take ourselves to Profetia Carstale, not far from here. Just follow the path to the west. I'm actually going to take another bathroom break real quick, and then we'll continue. I've got about 40 minutes left of the stream. Off we go. This tower and the one further along are both part of the Perpetua Crystalline, a facility where they archive all of Elpis's observational and testing records. Despite how they appear from the outside, the interior is actually a vast area of magically interconnected spaces, which, while fascinating, is not the reason we are here, is it? I shall cut my architectural lesson short and see what of the two archivists have to share. If you could find someone to speak with over in the another tower, I shall join you there anon. And over there should be good. I bet you, Archivist. You have questions for me? Certainly. Just a moment while I conclude my current appointment. Indeed, if you could provide a comprehensive log of those behaviors, we should then have sufficient data for our official records. Now, what was it you wished to speak with me about? Well, you know, this, that, and the other. The Chief Overseer's personal research project. By that I assume you mean Mateo. Yeah. Such undocumented studies are difficult to track. After all, hardly a day goes past without seeing a researcher trailed by another creation or other. I'm afraid I cannot tell you exactly when Matian appeared, only that she now spends much of her time at Chief Hermes' side. Although I do recall an interesting tale my dearest Glenine shared with me. Oh, yeah? Glenine is my partner and a fellow researcher here in Elpis. She was returning late one night when she caught sight of Chief Hermes sending Matean heavensward, a host of them. For several days she would speak without scene with wonder, describing it as one of the most beautiful spectacles she's ever witnessed. Sounds like a story I should like to hear. Mistress Fana, I thought you had already returned to the surface. Permit me to thank you again for your invaluable contribution to our concept placement proposal. Pray not mention it. As you say, my original plan was to leave after that task, but I have since become engrossed with Chief Hermes' research. Would you favor me with retelling of this sight which so delighted your Galeen? Oh, of course. If you could hear it from her lips or you could hear it from her lips directly, if you prefer. At present, she is observing a subject in the Telebas Thalassi. She does enjoy her time there, watching the sea creatures hunt and play, gazing upon the salty waters of the world's oceans, recreated in such sublime detail. I imagine you must find similar joy in indulging your boundless curiosity, Mistress Fana. Even though such pursuits must continually and regretfully delay your return to the star. Indeed, they do. 'Tis a rest well deserved and long overdue, I should think. How greatly have we prospered for the wisdom you accumulated during your travels as Azim. And what would Elpis be without your earlier academic work? The theories you developed served as the basis for many techniques still in use today. Man is a creature of contemplation, but none embody that nature with as much endearing passion as you. I dare say there's not a soul alive more worthy of a return. I shall rejoice the day you depart on your final journey. And I will be honored. Well, shall we take this opportunity to meet with Galeen in person? Yeah, let's do it. Then allow me to reconfigure the door to the archives here. It will take you up the stairway and take you up to the skyway and spare you the need to avoid hostile concepts in the ground. That would be most helpful. Thank you. I've opened the path to the skyway. Once you pass through the door, simply walk straight across to the next tower and ask for admittance to the upper tier. Upon arriving at the upper tier, walk straight across the skyway and you will find yourself at the entrance of Metalebos de la Lassie. Galeen will be eager to share her tale with you, I'm sure. I'm sure. I forget I can do this. Hey there, approachable archivist. Mistress Vanna, just passing through? Then allow me to prepare the path. If you need further assistance, there's always an observer or two out in the upper skyway. Approachable archivist. Mr. Shvanna, I was not told to expect we would have prepared an official welcome. Please, there's no need for fanfare. I only wish to speak with Galeen, if that might be arranged. Oh, yes, Galeen, of course. I will inform her immediately. But she may be engaged in a testing phase. You could be in for something of a wait. Should I let her know your business is urgent? No, that won't be necessary. This lovely view will keep us occupied until she's ready to receive us. Answers yet again.
A delightful breeze and a breathtaking view.
Quite. Just pretty.
What is it like in the future? Is the world still a beautiful place?
I think so. It's as beautiful as ever.
I swear I could hear the glimmer in your eyes and the adoration in your voice. While we wait, will you not tell me about your adventures? Well, not the portentous events which led you here, but the simple delights all your own. By learning about the future world, I may gain insight into future me's plans.
One of the things I really
But more
enjoy
than
is
that,
meeting people.
I have an interest simply as a fellow traveler. Short of going somewhere oneself, there's naught more stirring than hearing another's account.
One of the most interesting places I visited is the first world, which is a sundered world from our own. And the trees were purple. It was kind of crazy, actually. But, yeah. It was really interesting, the crystals that were there. Yeah, kind of nuts, actually. Oh, yeah, there were zombies. Yep. But I defeated them. Oh, and a fat guy turned really hot. It was weird. It's like he had.
Incredible. Would that I could have been there to see it. Yours is a harsh and unforgiving world. Yet in spite of this, your brethren hold fast to their virtue. To know that the light of mankind's potential still shines, even in that faraway place, it gives me heart. Thank you for regaling me with your tales. I will treasure every word.
I'm glad to hear that.
As you know, I was once a scholar. And among other things, I sought to understand the workings of the world.
I'm a scholar too.
What exactly is ether? How formed the laws of nature? Whence sprung mankind?
I like to learn as well. It's fun.
Riddles and mysteries beyond counting. Over the years, I have managed to find answers to some few of them. Yet rather than attain a sense of mastery, the more I understood, the more I came to hold the world and its miracles in awe.
It's quite surprising. The more you learn, the more you find out you don't know. And there you get more mysteries to look into. It's pretty cool.
We too are miracles. Each and every one of us. Born of the warm breath of life that traverses the heavens, swirling through eternity. When I fully grasped the improbability of our existence, nothing felt impossible anymore. If it could be imagined, it could be done. A passion swelled within me. An epiphany dispelling all preconceptions of what was natural and true, and a presence without. Immense, yet intimate. Fate, perhaps, holding us in its tender embrace. As reassuring as it was intimidating. How keenly aware I became of creation's fragility, built as it is upon precarious happenstance. I was overcome with an irrepressible urge to know the world more intimately, to hear its voice, feel its breath.
It'll become the Earth itself, you say. Interesting, Heidelin. Benah.
I ventured forth on a journey that very day, so very long ago now. Freed from presumption and prejudice, I saw the world through a newborn's eyes. Everything fresh and new, and so beautiful. Lands that stretched on forever. Skies one could drown in. The heartbeat of nature, silent yet strong.
This is a freaking awesome picture. We're screenshotting that bad boy right there.
And amidst it all a people. Beacons of light and life. Laughter that warmed my heart like naught else before. They are my meaning, and my purpose. My love. And so long as they need help, I cannot return to the star.
Take a picture of that one, too.
Perhaps my future self is still waiting for it. The moment she can let go and walk unto the end. Safe in the knowledge that man will find his own way. You, who are our future, tell me this, and tell me true. Has your journey been good? Has it been worthwhile?
It's been amazing, actually.
Pray forgive my lateness. My observation subject was rather irritable, and it took a while to settle it down.
No need to apologize. Your work takes precedence. Besides, we had a pleasant conversation in the meantime.
Indeed.
You're too kind. Now then, I'm told you wished to ask me some questions.
Indeed. I've an interest in one of Hermes' creations. Meteon. You witnessed a host of them take flight, yes?
Oh, that! Yes, I did. 'Twas in the dark of the morn. I'd left the Thalassai after nocturnal observation. As I walked along, I spied a bright light climbing high into the southeastern skies. Then, in an instant, it was gone. Like a shooting star, only rising rather than falling. But then another shot up. Then another, and another. Intrigued, I made my way to the edge to investigate. And who should I spy on an isle to the south but Hermes and Meteon, the Metea, rather. There were lots of them, and I realized They must be the shooting stars that I'd seen.
A dazzling spectacle indeed. Have you spoken with Hermes about this?
Oh, yes. The sight left such an impression on me that I approached him about his mystery project the very next day. Alas, he said that he couldn't reveal anything just yet, that he needed to conduct further tests. It shouldn't be long now, though. He often returns to that isle, and I have a feeling he's nearing a breakthrough.
A star shower as they return.
Splendid. We are likewise eager for the details. Well, that is all we wish to ask. Thank you for taking the time to indulge our curiosity.
You're very welcome. It's always a pleasure to speak with other inquisitive souls. Oh, and will you be descending now? If so, I shall link the doors for you.
Please.
So another piece of the puzzle falls into place. From what we've learned thus far, I think we can safely conclude that Hermes hasn't been revealing the details of his research to others, which suggests that either someone will appropriate his discoveries and make use of them, or that Hermes himself will have a hand in causing the final days. And since we have no reason to suspect the former, we consider the latter the more likely possibility. Proceeding under that assumption, our next step should be to divine why or even if he might desire such a terrible fate for our star. I should like to visit the site from which Hermes set forth the Metea. If we are fortunate, we might yet find some hint of what drives this research of his. Galeen said she spotted them in the southeast, rising from an isle she could see from the edge. If we stand at that very same vantage point, it should not prove too difficult to locate the isle in question. Let's take a look, shall we? The little tasks on the way. What a sight! Vampirlos sneezed and sent tufts of cloud metal flying every which way. And while highly amusing, I'll never be able to gather them all up alone, unless you're willing to lend a hand. Sure. Thank you so much. We'll split up and start looking for them. Be on the lookout for fluffy white plants floating near Pocanton's Icos. And bring any you find back here. Aren't you a sweet-looking familiar? Tell me, to whom do you belong? I have no idea, this guy. Oh, you're Asm's, aren't you? He's a goodly sort, wouldn't you say? Always appearing at times of trouble to extend a hand to those in need, and given that I am one such, I'm sure he wouldn't mind if I borrowed you for a bit. A lengthy debate was held in Kittis Apralia regarding the evaluation of creations. Meticulous minutes were taken during said forum. I'd like for you to fetch for me. A dear friend of Amara asked for them, you see, and I plain forgot all about it now. Now, if you'd be so kind, I will send word to the scrivener in charge and ask them to wait your coming in front of the Partean crystalline, where the documents are being held. Once you have the notes, return to me here. Oh dear, I'm starting to worry some. It's my colleague, you see. We heard this horrid screech from a Melanie, and he went rushing off to check what all the fuss was about. I was thinking of following after them, but, well, just look at me. You, however, appear well versed in combat and all such singular escapades. Perhaps you might see if aught is amiss and ensure my coworker hasn't come to any harm. All right. It's very kind of you to agree to such a request. Last I saw of him, he was racing for the southern end of Krolus Riptos. Do promise to hurry. I'm half afraid he was going to wound up on the wrong side of some nasty fiend's fangs. There's a cloud mellow. No, that's just fun. A name. I need a name for it. One that will stand the test of time as it passes through generation after generation. When you break it down, what is a name, really? Can I help? Oh, hello, I didn't see you there. You're familiar, I take it? Very good. But who is, I wonder? Well, it's not important right now. You've ears enough to listen to my plight. Thank you. I'm tasked with a job of great import, nomenclature. Currently, I find myself facing down a sort of creative blockage in regards to this fellow's name. It's a creature who has not survived the vicious wilds of the hungering gardens, but has thrived in them thanks to ossified spines. Thus it deserves a name befitting of its rugged tenacity. Despite its singularly unique physical properties, its creator never bothered to refer to it as anything besides its designation, Euros 310. I cannot abide someone inspired a name for a creation as remarkable as this. But therein lies the rub. For all of its captivating qualities, I've yet to hit upon a captivating name. I was just on my way to take a turn around the grounds to stimulate creative juices, so to speak. And seeing you, I realized 2 heads may be better than 1. So what do you say? Would you care to join me on my walk? Sure. Excellent. You, my quick-witted familiar friend, will be a boon indeed to my imagination. Let's say we take a quiet moment to cognate beneath that large tree to the south of here. This cloud mellow. Worry weighs on a Farian's mind. I hope she's all right. I want to go after her, but what if she comes back while I'm away? I can do it. Oh, you must be familiar. Could you help me deliver a message? I have an associate that works much too hard. I want to tell her to take a break and join me for a nice, relaxing meal. I sent another familiar already, but it's failed to return. As an experimental entity, it's too simple to handle more than one order at a time, so I might be stuck attempting to fulfill my request. Would you mind checking up on them both for me? I can give you a little something if you're willing to help out. Sure. Wonderful. Knowing my associate, she's probably dozing off somewhere into the trees in the north. It would happen if she's a good night's rest for once. You might need to give her a good poke to wake her up. I could poke him on. Cloud mellow. Hey, Galafira. What's up? You're familiar, aren't you? But perhaps you might be able to help me. I received an appeal for assistance from a colleague of mine, but I'm up to my eyeballs in work as it is. Might you step in where I cannot? Sure, whatever. Your benevolence does you credit. The researcher I spoke of has striking red hair and is likely lingering to the south side of Corella Liveros. Yes, I know that. I retrieve the tufts of mallow. We'll head over this way and hopefully get this stuff taken care of. Hey there, red-headed researcher. What's up? I'm supposed to find you for some reason. Oh, you're familiar, aren't you? One sent by Glafara, no doubt. Well, thank goodness you're here. I confess I'm still in somewhat of a daze, but with you here, I at least feel safe enough to stop and catch my breath. Something came over the specimen I was examining. I'm not entirely sure what. I've never seen it behave so erratically before. At any rate, I managed to slip my grasp and escape. Tried to chase after it, but I'm not half so fleet-footed. To complicate matters, the thing has a very nervous temperament, and will flee if anyone so much as approaches it. I'm considering imbuing some sort of sleeping spell into a dart, which one might shoot from a height, but who has such impeccable aim? Not I, to be sure, but do you? Oh, I'm actually pretty good at shooting. You do? I admit that proposal may be somewhat unjust, but this works out perfectly, so it's settled. You shall put our skittish beast to bed. Sure, handle it. I'll handle it. No problem. Find yourself a vantage point from the rise southeast of here, and with this blow dart, bring the frenzied feast under control again. Me, oh, I'll stay here and take a moment to collect myself. Alright, why not? Alright. Oh, that was much too close for my liking. Your taming is truly immaculate. I was quite trapped and would have been gobbled up if not for your timely interference. It was the agitated cries of the Melanian that brought me here. When I arrived to see what inspired such howling, I discovered this fellow being set upon by that raging creature. I didn't hesitate to insert myself into the fray, of course. I should be fine, but it's the familiar with whom I'm most concerned. Could you make sure it's unharmed? All right? Oh, aren't you just adorable? Rabbit familiar. Sniff, squeak. The familiar appears to be free of injuries, scrapes, or bruises, and has left behind a dazzling carrot. It is to say, thank you. Deliver the carrot to the long-haired observer. Actually, I would really like to keep it, but okay. Here. A relief to know I'm not too severely injured. Oh my, what is that? It's a dazzling carrot. You want it? You say the creature left it behind. Striking color for a carrot, wouldn't you say? Perhaps this is its way of showing its gratitude. What a thoughtful creature. And one I've never seen before. Whose familiar could that be, I wonder? I'll perform an investigation upon my return. Now then, shall we head back to Palaeonicus? I'm in a rather sorry state. I'd like to get cleaned up as soon as possible. Sure, why not? Search for the rampaging creature. You can move the camera as well as zoom in and out. Target the creature and use the blowgun with X. Are they some kind of rampaging creature? Got him. Kind of tiny, but whatever. You look kind of friendly, actually. don't know if I'd call him rampaging. Especially with this creature attacking me as soon as I got on my horse. Oh man, I gotta get high. There he is. What's up, taxonomist? Is it not the sun-dappled forest floor a stunning sight? Is not the breeze so bracing as to lift the spirits? Is not the cerusus of the Melasconites' whiskers so pleasant as to induce great thoughts? And surely with all the inspiration that surrounds us, you've been stirred into contemplation too. Tell me, what is it you now focus so squarely on? The innumerable tasks that sat waiting for it to me to be done. So even familiars have their fair share of woes. Might I suggest you take this moment to relax then? Simply let the winds wash over you, the rustle of the leaves play in your ears, and just think. Think, think, think. For a time, all you can hear is the breeze, like a calming whisper in your ears. All of a sudden, a groan invades your peace of mind. Created to survive in extreme weather conditions, whose adaptability is second to none. What would the name be suitable for such a creature? I can practically feel genius at the tip of my tongue, and yet nothing comes. Oh, bother, this won't do, will it? I hate to ask, but would you accompany me a little while longer? Come, let us away to the westerly waterfall. How dexterous you must be to hit a moving target with so small an object. Most impressive. Well, allow me to take that dozing specimen off your hands. There you go. My, what a precious sight our little beast makes when he's not running amok. A shame it can't be this adorable all the time. This was in fact one amateur creator's answer to the walking shark that recently gained approval. A somewhat hasty and ill-advised attempt, if you ask me. Credit where credit is due, though. The specimen is bipedal, despite its base being that of a quadrupedal beast. His predilection for being an excitable nuisance, however, means it cannot be of any real use to our star. What it needs is a healthy dose of intellect. I read a report stating as much. While I do that, return to Graphia and tell her of the assistance you rendered. Oh, and offer her my gratitude too, will you? Hey there, priggish taxonomist. Oh, listen close. Can you hear it? A waterfall whose stream is at once ferocious and tender, whose spray kisses its surroundings with an affectionate pitter-patter. Inspiring indeed, and like to give rise to brilliance. Yes, there's no place more perfect than the recognition of this creature's name. Come, stand with me, and let us think on it. Yeah. Eros 310 seems to be enjoying the misty spray from the falls. Yeah. Eros 310's beady eyes appear to scan its surroundings. It's a creature that bears a strong resemblance to a plant, so perhaps Planticus? This would deal similar to succulent. Ah, I've got it. Succulent. Oh, goodness gracious, no, that's just foul. I'm afraid I'm quite at a loss for names beyond the paltry few I've offered. Perhaps you could provide a fresh perspective. What is it you find most endearing about this creation? spiky head. Very cactuish. Oh, that did the trick. Your astute observational skills have stirred my imagination, for I've come up with a very worthy name. I must return to Poicath Ocus at once, and ensure that no other creation bears this nomenclature. You will not be too far behind, yes? You're due a suitable gift for the help you provided, after all. Hopefully we can get all these little side quests done here in the next 10 minutes. You're familiar. Oh, you're being attacked. Did you notice? Why aren't you a little clever thing? I think I'm gonna make friends with him. Oh, you're familiar then. Very good. Here are the records of the forum. Careful now. It's a sizable stack of volumes. Try not to drop any on your way back. 4 minutes, the forbearing visitor waiting you at the Poison Oikos before your arms give out. You'll have 2 minutes to complete your task. Should you fail, return to the starting location and begin anew. Beware of attack from enemies. They will sap your strength. Hello, yes, I'm supposed to be delivering this to a forbearing visitor? Are any of you people forbearing? Oh, there you are. I see you, Mr. Forbearing Visitor. I'm coming. Here are the minutes you requested. These are the documents I requested. My word, they must have been terribly heavy. The friend I spoke of is involved in the operation of Archimedes Sinider, a facility that houses myriad concepts, cognitions, and ideas. He felt that certain procedures, especially the ones concerning living creations, were lacking in information. Thus he sought detailed records that he might fill in the blanks, so to speak. I believe you're owed a little reward for your help. I'll think over what to offer you while I pack my belongings for the journey ahead of me. Come see me at the entrance to Poikanokos. I'm sure I'll have made up my mind by then. Sure, let me pick up this other stuff while you're thinking. Very good it is to see you again, my friend. The one whom you plucked from the jaws of death itself is seeking treatment for his wounds as we speak. I heard the entire tale, how a rabbit familiar was at the scene. Mr. Svanah had said the researcher was one such familiar, if that's the story. Anyway, perhaps the one you came across is related to that business. Well, regardless of its origins, it sounded like a rather polite creature, as I was told it left behind some sort of gift. Yet I shan't be outdone by a bunny, charming though it is, surely. Here you are, a present. Well, nothing special, but I hope it proves as scrumptious as the carrot our mysterious familiar bestowed upon you and my colleague. Let us hope. Alright, Nuhat. 84. Monk, 84. Red Mage, 84. Sage, 83. Okay, let's go to Sage then. It's saging time. Did you find any of the plants? Here are your cloud mallows. Perfect. Oh, it's such a relief to have them back. A somewhat amateur creator invented the concept to bring more life into the clouds, which is all well and good, but they get blown away far too easily. It would be nice if they were a bit more wind-resistant. You need to know that they can settle in a place without fear of them flying off, because some beast breathed on them too hard. Well, I'd better put them back where they belong before a light breeze and does all of your hard work. Here, Take this as thanks for your help. Thanks. I must say I greatly enjoyed our time together. I believe nothing cultivates creativity quite like the sharing of ideas. So often I'm forced to work alone. Though it pains me to admit this, it's much more fun to ponder in the silence of one's own company. In fact, I credit you for the name I devised. All that remains now is to go to Perpetula Crystalline, ensure there's no record of any similarly named creation, and appoint Yurkos 310 with its official name. And should I hit upon another metaphorical roadblock, I shall remember to always ponder while perambulating. Thank you again for your help in this matter. It's most appreciated. Thinking while you walk. Oh, there you are. I've finished my packing, and so it happens I've hit upon a most commensurate gift. My favorite food, and freshly made, too. Try it. I'm sure you'll love it. Farewell, familiar. Give my regards to Azam. Oh, there you are. Thank you for tidying up that bit of a mess for me. Speaking of which, what was the mess exactly? Oh, you know, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Thrilling game of Chase the Creation, was it? Well, that conjures up a sorry image indeed. It sounds like the researcher was able to glean some valuable information, so all's well that ends well, I suppose. If all goes according to the reports made, and sufficient intellect can be cultivated, then the specimen would prove a valuable contribution to our world. Thank you again for your assistance. Excellent. Head back this way, hit the mender on the way, and then we'll probably hit this last mission and hopefully be done for the day. Mender. Hardworking observer. Observer is fast asleep, completely unresponsive to the familiar fussing over her. A good poke might just wake her up. Poke, poke. Oh, oh, how long was I asleep? Oh. My friend sent you, just to invite me to eat? Oh, why send a familiar for something so trivial? Although, come to think of it, I could use a meal. Please let him know I'll be along soon. Wait, you're familiar as well? I thought you were one of us for a moment. Anyway, thank you for waking me. I suppose we'll be eating at our usual place. A nice cup of tea to start with sounds lovely. Well, do you not also need to report to Fabian? I mean, I suppose I might as well. A piff run, huh? Thank you for your help. My familiar says my associate has accepted my invitation. That is what happened, yes? Oh, yeah. Good. That means I can carry out my duties on a basic level, at least. It can carry out its duties, I mean. I designed it to convey ideas through information-laden aether rather than words. I'm happy to see the communication was successful. It does seem, however, this method is ineffective and the recipient of the message is asleep. I get to work on fixing that. But not now. Enjoy some time with my associate is the priority at the moment. Thank you again for your help. All right. Well, that's it for today. So we'll be back tomorrow morning around 7:30. And thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.